Well, greetings again, YouTube audience. I know that's not my signature opener, but do I really have to say those words for every single video? Oh, whatever, fine. This is David or G320 or whatever the fuck you want to call me, and it's time for another rant. And trust me, the shit I'm ranting about today is some shit I have wanted to get off of my chest for some time, guys. This is going to be one of the most harsh, scathing, and vituperative videos I have put out in a while. So this video is basically going to be directed as a gigantic fuck you to a certain few people out there. And this select few people happens to be almost every IRL, or in real life, acquaintance I had in the years of 2013, 2014, and 2015. Now you notice how I said almost right there? Just as a quick disclaimer here, there are definitely some exceptions to this video's message that exist. There were some genuinely good-hearted people I met during those years that I am not directing this video's message of fuck you at. And to those of you like that are watching, you all should know who you are. You guys are on my Facebook, and believe me when I say that if I didn't like you, you would not be on my Facebook friends list. And since this is IRL acquaintances I'm speaking of, this most certainly is not directed at anybody from the subscriber bases from either of my channels here on YouTube. So, all of you fans out there that might be worried, please relax. You got nothing to worry about. I am not telling any of you guys to fuck off. Now, as for the people that I am saying that to, why am I saying fuck you to almost every real-life acquaintance of mine from 2013, 2014, and 2015? Because these people royally fucked me over. And how did they do that exactly? By refusing to be a friend. That's how. So I had a couple of close friends when I was in high school. Then, when I reached the age of reason, which was shortly after I graduated, I woke up to see the emotionally manipulative, reckless, and misusing cunts that they really were, and subsequently distanced myself as far away from them as I could. But let me tell you something, guys. Right after I did that, I went through the biggest drought of companionship I ever experienced in my life. Because if there is anything I remember about the following 3.5 years, it was wandering around in loneliness, isolation, and hopelessness. All I wanted was a close, in-person friend. And society was too selfish and or afraid to give that to me. Because during those years, every time that I met somebody that I thought could have been a potential friend to me, they fucking pushed me away. I'd exchange contact information with them and then try to hit them up by either calling them, texting them, or Facebooking them, and then either they would never fucking get back to me, and in the rare times people actually did get back to me, they would always talk to me for like 1 or 2 days and just have these insultingly brief conversations with me like, oh hey, how's it going? You doing well? Alright, nice to know. Okay, have a good one, click. And then after like 1 or 2 instances of that shit, they would just put me on ignore completely and just stop talking to me all at once. Now let's be clear on one thing, everybody. I'm not saying everyone ought to be close friends with me, not at all. I'm perfectly okay with it if one person decides in their head, yeah, he seems like a nice guy and all, but he could be out to get into my pants for all I know, or he could be leading a secret life as a rapist or serial killer. No, it's impossible for somebody to be as friendly as he is without having some kind of an agenda, so fuck it, he's not going to be a part of my life. But the problem with people thinking this way is that when one person has this attitude, it strongly influences others to think and act the same way. And wouldn't you know it, that is exactly what fucking happened. I guess in that sense a lot of people are like sheep. But my point is this. Because society decided to be this way, I was stuck working part-time as a cashier at a dollar store for all of 2014 and 2015 with 0 close friends, 0 love life, 0 interesting job prospects along the horizon, and in general just no hope in sight. And the way I see it is this. No one should have had to go through the hell that I did. In one of my older videos called What is a True Friend from early 2015, I talked a little bit about this issue. I acknowledged that the first problem with this society nowadays is the inherent paranoia people seem to have about befriending anybody that they either didn't go to school with, didn't go to church with, or that doesn't have a single mutual friend with them. I'm going to tell a story from my personal life, guys, and this time I'm going to break one of my rules that I usually set for my videos, which is no name dropping. At one point in my job as a cashier, there was a co-worker I had named Brian that had recently been hired at the store. He was blonde-haired, 19 years old, about the same height that I am. And what made him special was that he was one of the first co-workers that came along that actually seemed interested in talking to me about more than just matters relating to the store itself. There was some friendly small talk between us and conversations about girls and beer and recent movie releases, and whenever he spoke to me, he seemed like he was enjoying himself, so I thought to myself, this is good, you know, maybe, just maybe, this could be an open door for friendship. Then one day, my boss decided to put both of us on break at the same time. And then when I realized that that was the case, I was walking back to the break room with him, and I was like, hey, cool, we get to talk more. And then he kind of chuckled at that. Then I sit myself down at the break room table to eat my food and drink my drink, and as I'm getting myself situated, I notice he goes into the bathroom. I was like, okay, no big deal, right? He probably just had a quick number 1 or number 2 to take care of first. But then as time goes by, I realized he decided to camp out in the fucking bathroom for all 10 minutes of his break just to avoid me. And I know that that was what he was doing, because unless he had a severe case of diarrhea come on right when he was supposed to be taking his break and was able to hide it like a champ, there was absolutely no earthly reason for him to do that. That hurt my feelings, man. I was like, what could have possibly happened in this guy's life that made him so opposed to exploring a new relationship with a potential friend? And after this incident, you don't know how bad I just wanted to walk up to him and say, dude, if you didn't want to talk to me, all you had to do was be honest and tell me. I would have understood, I would have respected your decision and given you the space you desired. Don't fucking send subliminal messages like a coward! Now, besides most people's inherent paranoia about strangers, what else do I think may have caused people to distance themselves from me in those years? Well, there was a video I saw right here on YouTube a few months back that really helped shed some light on how most of society functions nowadays, and it was this video called Homeless Guy Spits Some Truth. Just type that into the YouTube search box, it should be like the first result. This man's spoken piece about the current state of society was pretty accurate, but at the same time there was more I believe he could have said that was either left unspoken or that didn't make it into the final cut of the video. The man's words were, and I quote, "It's sad because there are so many beautiful things in life. Relationships are beautiful, but nobody wants relationships anymore. They're so into their internet, their Facebook, it's their idol. The internet has become their idol." Do I agree with this? Absolutely yes. But here is my perspective. The reason most people aren't interested in genuine companionship anymore nowadays is because the only kind of relationships most people want are the ones that benefit them without having the expectation of benefiting the other person's life in return placed upon them. That's people's mentality nowadays. It's, oh, this person needs a friend? I don't know. What's in it for me? What can I get out of this without being expected to give back? I'm talking about people that will run and vent to you when they have a problem and want you to sit there and listen to them for however long their story is just so they can blow off that steam. But if you should need somebody to vent to, nope. Suddenly, they become unreachable. Won't answer their phone, email, Facebook messages, any of that. They fucking ghost you. It's the same thing if there's some kind of special favor that they might need your help with. If they need you, you're supposed to go help them. But if you need them, you're just supposed to grow a thick skin, take everything in stride, and figure out how to make it on your own. And guess what? That's not how genuine companionship works. Genuine companionship is a two-way street. I help you, you help me. If I am going to be there for you, you need to be there for me. If this is too difficult for you, then make like a banana and fucking split. But yes, overall, this is what I attribute my drought of companionship from those years ago to. People are paranoid of strangers, they practically worship the internet, and they only want relationships where they can be the sole beneficiary of it all. I know it took me a long time to get to this point in the video, guys, but here it comes anyway. For 3.5 fucking years, I walked through life without a single soul to make it easier for me. My only friend during that time was a guy named George, and he doesn't live near me. He lives in the UK, so obviously there was only so much he could have done as a person to make me feel better, although he tried his absolute damnedest to do so, which I appreciate him for. But regardless, I went through a dark hell of loneliness, depression, and isolation that no one should have had to endure. And none of the rest of you real-life acquaintances of mine were willing to be anything more than just strangers that said hello to me if you happen to run into me at my job or see me in passing. And for those of you that fall into this category, on the off chance that any of you should someday happen to stumble across this video, I have exactly 3 things to say to you. Fuck you. Go fuck yourselves. And fuck off. If later on into the future someday I should happen to write a book or make a movie or record an album of original music that ends up jump-starting a career for me or making me famous, don't even think about contacting me and being all like, "Hey David, man, remember me? I used to serve you drinks at such and such bar," or "I was one of your coworkers at the dollar store, man." Because I'll be like, "Hey, I remember you. Let me ask you something, pal. Where in the fuck was your friendship when I needed it? Why is it just now, after I found prosperity in my life, that you decided you find me interesting as a person?" In the end, the words of Will Smith will be ultimately what I use on you. If you are absent during my struggle, then don't expect to be present during my success.